Hey, not that anybody's seriously asking, but as long as I was describing Skitch, I thought I'd just do a quick 1-minute demo of it. So let's say I have something I want to take a screenshot of. This is my proposed diorama. Offer still stands. I will pay completely for that call box renovation if we can make a diorama that basically affects or presents something like this. And also the college students on the unkept lawn. I'm happy to do that one too. All right, so in short, if I was going to, let's say, grab that picture and then make a couple notes, I would grab Skitch, right, which is this app that's for free, both available on the App Store and through a download for the PC. Notice I use it all the time for all sorts of junk. This is some stuff I wrote to Celeste over at DPW this morning. This is actually pretty funny. I thought it was being clever. This is my in the back of my yard, the super can bouquet, and I used Skitch again this morning to point out this absurd piece of junk that people just left at this house. Oh man, I love this neighborhood. Anyway, so that's, oops, I just closed Skitch. So anyway, that was a riot. All right, 1 minute. I promised a minute, so let me get started. So Skitch comes up, and it shows all the previous ones you've done. If you save them, you don't have to save them. Notice I just push mine up to Evernote by default. It just keeps them there in case I want them, but I don't really ever go back to them. But screen snap, I don't even know what the other options are. Full screen, there you go. Timed, that's some cool stuff. I just use the basic thing like this. I click on screen snap. Notice that window goes away, and then I've got this little like starting corner motion, and I'm just moving my mouse around without clicking. But let's say that wasn't the image I wanted to capture, I could toggle, as maybe you don't know how to normally toggle, but I'm using Command Tab. I'm sure there's an analog to that on the PC. So pop over to Spotify, that sort of thing, right? And then, so let's say I want to take this picture, but I also want to include the menu all the way up to here. So I just clicked, and I'm dragging. Oops, I went too far. I can go back, all this kind of stuff, which you'd expect. And I'll go this far and include a little puppy and say, that's good. And now I'm going to let go of my mouse. And it gives me an option like, okay, how big is this? It just tells me how big it currently is. And all this other, basically, who cares information? I was going to say insignificant, but I don't know if it's insignificant, but I just don't care. Capture. And then it pops us back to screen snap, notice, and it kind of resized it to show us this entire picture. So now I'm in this kind of drawing mode, and this is very meta, so it's confusing looking. But this is the toolbar for Skitch. So let's say I'll hit A, and I can start writing just as you saw before, like this is my first proposal, right? And it's like, oh, that's not that big. I want to emphasize it, so I could just take that corner and drag it a little bit and make it big. And maybe I don't even like that color, so I can come in here and make it blue, right? That sort of thing. And then let's say I want to highlight something square, rounded corner, or circle, and I'll change that from blue to like an orange. That's good. And I'll say maybe that, like that, and I just click and drag, and then the bigger the better for annoying aircraft. Right, that's just my note to the artist. So anyway, I'll make that tinier. And as you might have seen, I use this arrow thing a lot just to kind of make sure people know exactly what I'm talking about. So boom, done. So once that picture is ready, all I have to do is save it. And you can save it in any number of ways. So Skitch has, at least on the Mac, again, a top menu. I just usually do File Export, which allows you to export it as any kind of format that's typical. JPEG, PNG, all these other guys as well. TIFFs, BIMPs, PDF. Right? So I'm like, oh, this will be fine. I'll just put it in my download folder and just call it aircraft. Oops, I'm sure I misspelled that. Aircraft noise diorama. And now it's all set. And that what was saved, I'll go ahead and close this. Close everything. Close Photoshop. Close the Skitch. That app's now done. I'm finished with it for the day. And I just come back over to downloads. And there's the aircraft noise diorama. and there's our picture that I would send. And again, you can always trim it more or whatever. But that's it. Pretty straightforward tool to use, free, and it does often help if you have, like we were talking about the screenshots, and you could at least take a note, and not rather than have somebody kind of scour a huge screenshot and figure out where they are, or get a very condensed one that has no context. All right, that's way more than a minute. I apologize. Okay, bye.